It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Jen Cohen as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Hello and welcome to Countywide. I'm your host, Jen Cohen. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we'll be talking about RAIN, the Rural Innovation and Activation Network. That's RAIN right there. You're going to check out the website, 4azrain.org. Really wonderful website. You definitely want to go there, so make sure you put this in your brain, 4azrain.org. We're talking with Cal Manis, who is the RAIN Project Director, and also Alexandra Helm, who is the co-chair of the Verde Valley RIC. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump right into this. What a neat program RAIN is, but I bet you there's a few people that haven't heard of it. Cal, you want to explain that for us, please?
Sure. Thank you for having us on. I
absolutely.
appreciate it. So RAIN is actually evolved from a conversation that a friend of mine who is a professor at ASU and I had probably 8 years ago. I was teaching in a small community school and my students were doing great, but I looked around and they had no resources. And we choose to live in a rural community, and it's a lifestyle choice for most of us. So we were talking and he said, well, why don't we write a grant to help the rural communities in our state? So we did, and we kept writing it, and we had to write it 5 times. Finally, it was funded by the National Science Foundation, and we implemented it in 4 different regions in Arizona. So RAIN is actually 2 parts. It's a research grant, and it's a program grant. The research piece is looking about how people in rural communities perceive science and technology, engineering and math in their lives and how it's value. The program part is actually providing seed funds to get interesting experiences around STEM into our communities. So the Verde Valley is one of the 4. We're also in Cochise County, Graham and Greenlee counties, and the White Mountains. So different demographics. Interestingly enough, we just finished our first round of research, and there's more similarities than differences in the different perceptions. So that's the background. How it evolves in each region is different because it's a reflection of the region itself. And so to facilitate that, we created Rural Innovation Councils, or RICs. And it's a federal grant, so you have to have acronyms. So we have RAIN has RICs, and the RICs actually were given $200,000 over a 4-year period, which actually is stretched out to about 5, to fund experiences for the community. The one perception that most people have when they talk about science and technology, that they think, well, this is only about kids in school. This grant is actually an informal science grant, and so it's everything but kids in school. So it's libraries and the archaeology center and the parks. We have collaborations and partnerships with APS and the state park and Local First Arizona, who's a huge supporter of this program. So it's getting the toddlers involved at a program with Fun with Math and Science, which we co-sponsored with the state library, and it should show up this summer to folks that are interested in, you've got a curiosity about astronomy, and we do astronomy things. We'll support astronomy programs or water safety, anything that deals with the science of.
Sure.
But what we really want to do is engage people's curiosity and remember that it's okay to keep learning.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's nice to point out, Cal, that it's not just children, it's children through adults. Anyone who has a curiosity and a thirst for learning things associated with science, technology, engineering, and math. That's what STEM stands for.
Right.
Right, and you fold that in. Now you keep mentioning bringing experiences. Can you give us a couple examples of the experiences Rain's brought to the Verde Valley?
I can.
Excellent, Alex.
And I want to add something too about the research portion as well. But one of the events that was just recently held on May 11th was called Explorology. And it was a supported event by many organizations here in the Verde Valley, including RAIN. And it was actually pretty much a four-part type of event. We had a concert, we celebrated STEAM. So the Verde Valley has really embraced STEAM as well as STEM. So we do tend to emphasize the arts as well here in the Verde Valley. We also had a presentation by one of the managers of the Arizona State Parks at Mingus High School to speak to the high school students about careers in STEM. And then on May 11th, we had over 1,000 4th, 5th, and 6th graders come on the Verde Valley campus. We had over 30 exhibitors from all different ranges of STEM, showing hands-on demonstrations and allowing the kids to see all sorts of different kinds of things that have to do with STEM. And then we brought on the community after that. So that was a big event that we had that was involved several, as I said, several organizations: City of Cottonwood, Sedona, the libraries, etc. All got on board for that.
These are big things. These are not just little meet me in the park at the table in the corner. These are actual real events. Now, Cal, tell us why STEM is so important, you know, in our lives in the Verde Valley, or just in general. Like, what makes that so important?
One of the interesting things about the way our economies are evolving is that we're becoming really more of a service economy than a manufacturing economy. And so a lot of it is about concepts, ideas, and innovation. And STEM, when you think about science and technology and engineering, you solve problems. And a problem is presented, you come up with different ways, pathways to solve it. That, in my opinion, that is probably what's going to be the new American export. It extends what's already happening in technology, and it doesn't require a place. You don't have to actually live in a city to be innovative. Several years ago, NASA decided to recreate their spacesuit because the one that they had wasn't working. So what they did is they sent it out into the community and said, okay, we're going to do the gloves now. And a gentleman and his son in Portland, Oregon, created the gloves that NASA uses now in their garage.
Wow.
So essentially crowdsourcing. That's what STEM and STEM learning, and learning the process and being willing to, put yourself out a little bit and solve problems, be innovative, kind of get that energy going again. I suspect that this will be kind of like the workforce push.
Sure.
But there's, basic understandings that you have to have. A lot of people get that in school. Some people don't. Some people aren't really interested until they've graduated high school and realize, I should have actually spent more time in my science class.
Should have paid attention in that class.
Right, because I need this now. And so what's evolving are a lot, especially in the rural communities, the libraries are taking the place as an informal learning center. And they're very, very open. The Arizona State Libraries are extremely open to providing opportunities for people if you come in and talk to them.
Awesome. Well, that's good. That's good that we're all becoming aware of this. I see this as STEM is the future. Keep that in mind. Check out 4azrain.org, 4azrain.org. We're talking about the Rural Innovation and Activation Network, RAIN. We'll be right back. We have to take a short break, so don't go away.
as these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool. Oh, yeah. Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
And welcome back to Countywide. I'm your host, Jen Cohen. We're talking about the Rural Innovation and Activation Network, RAIN. Check out 4azrain.org. We're talking with Cal Manis, who is the RAIN Project Director, and Alexandra Helm, who is the co-chair of Verde Valley RIC. So let's talk about Verde Valley RIC. Alex, tell us about that.
Okay, so Verde Valley Rural Innovation Council is a group of individuals that came together around this grant. And each of the regions was tasked with building their own strategic plan. So we were brought together by Diane Jones, who is the ex-mayor of the city of Cottonwood. And we went to a retreat and we created a strategic plan. Our goals are basically community awareness, informal STEM learning, and community engagement. As Cal mentioned, we have funds available. So we are within the strategic plan, we are funding informal STEM experiences. We've done our first grant funding cycle, and the group is comprised of not only a core group of committee members throughout the Verde Valley. There are also other individuals who we consider our strategic partners that we look to for support. But we're constantly looking for new members to join us and get involved in this council, because it's going to go on for a few more years, and the ultimate goal is to create a group that can come together and make this sustainable in the Verde Valley. So that is ultimately what we would like to happen, but we're certainly looking for other people who are interested in and enjoy STEM and want to bring more experiences to the Verde Valley and help us with the grants as well.
Okay. Now, if someone wants to get involved in that, if someone wants to come and join your team and help you out with that, how do they do that? Who do they contact? Do they go through the website?
Actually, they would contact us through the email that I gave you, and they can write there. I'm the co-chair, Lisa Blythe, with
First Things First.
First Things First is also a co-chair, and we monitor that. And also on the 4AZ website, there is a link to the Verde Valley. So if someone is interested in actually applying for a grant within the Verde Valley, they may do so on that website. However, if they'd like to get involved and become a member, then it's best if they just email us directly.
Okay, vvraininfo@gmail.com if you want to email directly, vvraininfo@gmail.com. Now tell us about the grants. We keep talking money. Let's talk money.
So we have a few grants that are going on right now. One which is really exciting is with Local First Arizona. And they created a program called Science Happens Here. And it's Local First is obviously a business, a local business organization throughout Arizona. And Kimber Lanning is their executive director for the foundation. And it was about 3 years ago, she came up with this idea of why don't we look at the bakery, the mechanics, the carpet and tile company, and look at the science that's happening. So Science Happens Here. And it's an interesting program. What they do is they've created trading cards. And the cards have a number. It goes through, is a partnership with the schools. So students would go, or children would go to a business. They get a trading card. On the card is a little bit about the science of that business and a link to a website that has an experiment that they can do at home.
Ooh, what a great program.
It's really neat. And then as you do the experiments, you get badges. And if you acquire so many badges, then you get something.
Well, that's great. And did they do that through a grant from you? Is that how that worked out?
Actually, they started that. There was a collaboration with Local First, the Arizona SciTech Festival. They're the main organizer, Kimber and myself. And so I wrote the cards. I didn't do the pictures because I'm artistically challenged, but I do words. So I wrote that and I did all the experiments.
All right.
And so that,
fun.
I suspect, will be rolled out in the fall.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. And what other types of grants do you have available for folks? We keep talking about informal STEM experiments. That's what these grants are for?
These are essentially seed grants. So they get people up and off the ground. You have a cool idea. Let's see if this will work. Ideally, it hits a population that's not specifically only students, right? So it's a larger population. We don't give many boundaries. Our goals are up on the website, and the easiest way to do it is to just have a conversation and say, I have this idea, how can we work it out, or can we work it out? And then go to the vvraininfo@gmail, and that's a great way to start.
Wow. That's great. So if I love to go back to the dad and the son in the garage in Oregon who create the gloves for NASA. I mean,
it's cool, isn't it?
That's ridiculously cool.
Right.
So I want to be those guys.
So we all have issues. I mean, we have issues. There are issues, real issues that are in our community that, you know, you talk about around the dining room table. I have a solution to that. Well, it's only a solution if you actualize it, or if you try it, if you go out there and do something about it.
So if someone has one of those pending solutions and they want to start a conversation about a grant, what's their first step?
Go to that website.
Go to the website.
Yeah, I mean, really, we tried to make it as easy as possible. And if we can't grant through this process, we have a lot of resources. So it's like, talk to this one, we bring conversations, bring people together.
Excellent.
And that's what part of it is.
Networking.
Well, it's all about collaboration. Nobody can do it alone.
No, that's true. At least not well.
Not well.
That's for sure.
Right.
4azrain.org is the website you want to go to. There's lots of great information for you on that. Anything you want. And then there's links to all sorts of places that can get you everywhere you want to go. 4azrain.org. We're talking about the Rural Innovation and Activation Network, RAIN. We're talking with Cal Manis and Alexander Helm. We've got to take another short break, but we'll be right back, so don't go away.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
what to expect when you're expecting.
Like here?
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
I'm ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Ah, Smokey! Only you can prevent wildfires.
And welcome back to Countywide. Just a few minutes left. I'm Jen Cohen. We're talking with Cal Manis, RAIN Project Director, and Alexander Helm, the co-chair of the Verde Valley RIC. Now, something interesting we need to button up about RIC, Cal. You said that it's more than one voice involved in there. We've got lots of different areas.
Right. So our idea was that the RICs would actually be a voice for the community. And so if that's true, then one voice is not the community. We created the RIC to have a member from K-12, at least one or two, from higher ed. We wanted the business community to be well represented. So we actually have Molly Spengler, who's the economic development coordinator from Sedona, who sits on there. We wanted people from early childhood, so Lisa Blythe from First Things First is on that. It needs to be truly a voice of the community, and for it to be sustained, for it to go on, more voices are welcome.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, that's great. Cover all the bases there. Now, another thing, you're giving students voice. I like this, how you said that about the Chief Science Officer program. The CSO program, it's inaugural in the Verde Valley. It starts in July. It's a one-year-long program. Alex, what can you tell us about that?
Well, it's actually Cal's thing. However, we're actually I work for Yavapai College, and I work for the executive dean of the Verde Valley campus. So we'll be hosting the 2-day leadership training for that program come early, or was it late? End of July. End of July. So the college will be very involved in the startup of this program, and so we're very excited about being able to host them on the Verde Valley campus to start off.
Very good, beautiful campus. So that's a great place to have it, Cal.
So this is an international program, started here in Arizona as a result of a conversation around a table like this, where everybody was an adult, and it was all about teaching kids, and not a student was sitting at that table. And so the Chief Science Officers program evolved from that. It's from grades 6 through 12. What we do is we provide leadership training in a 2-day institute. That'll be at the end of July at Yavapai College in Clarkdale. And then we will follow up with programs throughout the year. The students ideally are elected or selected by in their schools, and then they will create programs. So they become an ambassador for STEM from these leadership training and university experiences to their peers. So that it becomes a peer-to-peer teaching process.
Fantastic. Now, how does someone get involved in that?
So right now, it's very limited. This is our first year. We have Sedona and Cottonwood Oak Creek school districts that have committed already. We have a little bit of space still, and they can contact me directly.
Okay.
And we can do that. Actually, the easiest way is Mr. K. Manis at gmail.com, which I created when I was teaching. So
perfect.
And soon though.
Yeah.
If they're
soon,
interested, it needs to go soon.
Running out of time. Great. And is there information on the Chief Science Officer program on the 4azrain.org?
There will be in a couple of days.
Okay.
And then there's their own website.
Okay.
Chief Science Officers with an S.org.
Excellent. ChiefScienceOfficers.org. Excellent. Awesome. Thank you both for being here very much.
Well,
Alex,
thank you very
Cal,
much.
really appreciate it. Rain is amazing. Thank you for what you're doing in the Verde Valley with this program. Check out 4azrain.org. That's all the time we have for Countywide. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next time.